Hello everyone and welcome back to the Blackford Book Club and another volume of my essential film reviews collection. Welcome back. A change of angle. I'm experimenting. I believe I'm destined for great things, Mr. James. Commencing in Blue Cut, Missouri, September the 7th, 1881, and following a surreal and dreamlike sequence full of sepia tones and soft-edged shots, accompanied too by a diary-like narration. The camera pans too, then zooms in on the star of this quiet and quite beautiful film. Forever standing on the periphery, a longing gaze captured by a long and lingering shot that never leaves his face. It is the coward and his portrayal by a rising star of an actor that captures the imagination here, and a performance of real maturity from one so young. Robert Ford, Casey Affleck. A new recruit to Jesse James's gang, Affleck's portrayal of an outsider and an awkward loner always on the outside looking in is utterly mesmerising from start to finish. His nervous, shy tics and traits are all present, but it's Affleck's looks and glimpses that steal the show, his eyes darting anywhere and everywhere to hide his shyness, and his soft, trembling voice builds a picture of a young man desperately looking to impress his hero. A devoted reader of the now infamous annuals on the exploits of Jesse James and his family gang of bandits, Ford is desperate to ingratiate himself with the gang's famous leader and his lifelong hero. His desperation to be a part of the gang and close to his hero is set from the very beginning, and his conversation with Jesse's older brother when he admits, "Folks sometimes take me for a nincompoop on account of the shabby first impression." Despite nincompoop being my favourite word, this is in no way prejudices my scant choice of wonderful dialogue from this film. Oh okay, just a little. But the scene and Affleck's portrayal is set early on, and the young actor never relents until the final frame of the film. A fully deserved Oscar nomination soon followed. Together with following Robert Ford's view of the world, director Andrew Dominik, together with the genius director of photography Roger Deakins, capture his eyes brilliantly, focusing on them, following them, and employing them as our eyes for the film. The film is almost shot through the prism of Affleck's eyes. Midway through the film is a crunching gear change that encapsulates this brilliantly. A late night family dinner and a simple scene shot around a dining room table introduces us to Brad Pitt's high mark in his portrayal of Jesse James. Holding court as he does so, recounting stories of old in his bullish way, it is, however, Affleck's nuanced touches that impress. Teased mercilessly by the gathered family for his admiration of Jesse, Ford opens his heart on their character similarities and views on the world, to which Jesse's mocking replies again hold court and dominate the conversation to crush Ford to the brink of tears. Again employing very long, lingering shots on both men, the director brilliantly captures both Jesse James' mocking dismissal, but more importantly, and much longer shots, of Ford's desperation not to break, cry, or be seen to be affected. Together with the fandom and longing to be accepted, it's also clearly a love story of a younger man falling for the visage of the older man's experience and bravado. When together, yet amongst other gang or family members, Ford's admiration of and devotion to Jesse James is palpable. They also share 8 joint scenes in the film. Some are very brief and fleeting exchanges, 3 of which are briefly outlined below. Looking wistfully through a frosted window at his hero playing in the garden with his snakes, Ford approaches a now sullen and paranoid Jesse James. His nervous laughter giving away his emotions, his look of pride as the scene ends tells you everything, all with a backdrop of an unseen lady singing Amazing Grace. Believing himself now unseen, Ford stands in the doorway quietly watching Jesse in the bath. Following the above exchange, Jesse wonders aloud if Ford wishes to be like him, or actually him. The scene ends with an audible sigh from Ford and a longing, lingering glance. A brilliantly lit scene follows of sepia-toned yellow, which is split into two segments by the intervention of Ford's brother Charlie. The first segment is James outlining their next job to Ford, but equally challenging his faith in him. The second segment is Brad Pitt at his maniacal best. Jesse James, Brad Pitt. As the film grows, so does Pitt's performance, and whilst it is a superb performance and indeed portrayal, it is still overshadowed by his younger co-star. A still performance and one again shot through his eyes, as the early scenes depict a sparkly-eyed Jesse James, his eyes piercing the screen, which later are now replaced by duller, tired and more worn eyes. His cocksure, top-of-the-world persona soon disintegrates into paranoia, and of James's darker, sadistic and psychopathic side. Always in control, sitting in judgment and weighing every situation before he responds. The long pauses before he speaks are pure anticipation and a mark of Pitt's accomplished performance. Supported by the wonderful, as always, Sam Rockwell as Charlie Ford, Jeremy Renner as Wood Height, Garrett Dillahunt as Ed Miller, and Paul Schneider as Derek Liddell. This male-dominated film also has fine support from Mary Louise Parker as Z. James and Zoe Deschanel as Dorothy Evans. There are also notable cameos from two of the giants of modern-day cinema, as Sam Shepard plays Frank James and the brilliant Michael Parks as Henry Craig. A scot-free Plan B production with Ridley Scott, Tony Scott and Brad Pitt notable producers or executive producers. A beautiful yet mournful musical score from Nick Cave and Warren Ellis, unsurpassed cinematography from the genius Roger Deakins, and wonderful costume design from Patricia Norris. Director Andrew Dominik deserves huge plaudits for bringing this film together with a spectacular subtlety. Seemingly those two words don't fit easily together, however after re-watching this gem they are a perfectly apt description. Relying heavily on the source material from the book of the same name by Ron Hansen, each character performance is a joy, and even with a running time of 153 minutes, the film never feels that length, aided and abetted by the recurring dreamlike and surreal segues between scenes. Here, director of photography Deakins excels, as the surreal flashbacks and flash forwards propel the film along quickly and interestingly so. The cinematography is a real standout, and Deakins was deservedly nominated for an Oscar for his achievements. In A Story of the Life of Jesse James there is obviously violence, however it is surprisingly sparse and sporadic, and although graphically depicted, is equally fleeting from the screen. To my eyes this is clearly a love story of total devotion to another, of hero worship and the birth of celebrity mixed in the madness of late 19th century life. A story of loss, regret and unreciprocated love, and the death of an American icon. Far more than a standard Western adaptation, and a performance from Casey Affleck that astounds you every time. And that was The Assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford. And this is a different angle, and I'm going to change it for the next video, hooray! But this has been Stephen Blackford, in a Radiohead t-shirt, reading and writing pointless, but spoiler-free and heartfelt film reviews since 2012. I thank you for watching, I thank you for being there. I'm going to change the angle, you don't really care, I'll leave you in peace and in solidarity. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you with a different angle next time. Peace.